Hey kiddos, welcome to the land of multiplying mixed numbers and fractions. Remember when we spoke in class, we had two goals. Number one was making sure that we were converting our fractions and mixed numbers specifically converted into fractions. And then when we have our final answer, converting that fraction into a mixed number when necessary. When we were multiplying whole numbers and fractions, we had a lot of mixed numbers for our answers, so we're using that same strategy. And with that, let's dive in. I'm going to use that reverse C method. And this is on your printable if you forget. But we do bottom times the big, add the cherry on top. That helps us get our fraction converted over. So 2 times 1 is 2, add 1 is 3, times 2/5. Once they're both fractions, then we multiply. 3 times 2 is 6. 2 times 5 is 10. With this one, it's not going to be a mixed number because the top number is smaller than the bottom, but it can be simplified. I can divide both of these by 2. If you got to 6/10, that's your base skill. If you got to 3/5, that is your stretch. Next one here, we have 7 and 4/5 that needs to be converted. 7 times 5 is 35. 35 add 4 is 39. This is a big one. We're really using those multiplication skills from back when we did our multiplication unit. So if you need to set it up with your box multiplication or your stacked multiplication, please do so. So we have 117 over 20. Top number is greater. That tells me that I am going to have to make a mixed number. 20 can go into 117 5 times. That gives me 100. That leaves me with 17. 17 on the top, 20 on the bottom. We always have to ask ourselves, is this fraction simplified? Just because we made it a mixed number doesn't mean that it is in simplest form. In this case, it is. We can simplify to 5 and 17 over 20. All right, sweet faces. Bottom times the big, add the cherry on top. 3 times 6 is 18. 18 add 1 is 19. Don't change the denominator. This one is not scary. 19 times 1, we can do that. It's 19. 6 times 4 is 24. 19 over 24 is reduced because 19 is a prime number. Remember, a prime number just means that it is only divisible by 1 and itself. So it looks strange, but it is simplified. All right, sweet faces, we have some big numbers because we really need to focus. So 9 times 8 is 72. 72 add 3 is 75. We're going to be multiplying 75 times 5. Think of quarter numbers though. 75, that's like 75 cents. If I had 75 cents 5 times, I would have $3.75. 6 times 8 is 48. We're really trying to use our division. Okay, so setting this up, 375 on the inside and our 48 on the outside. When we divide, it's going to go in 7 times. 7 times 48 gives us 336. I know these are big numbers, but you have got this. When I subtract, I'm left with 39 over 48. Just because we've made it a mixed number does not mean that it is simplified. So we need to ask ourselves, do they share anything in common? Is there anything that divides into both? And there is. Both of these are divisible by 3. So if you got it lower and you divided 39 by 3, giving you 13, and 48 by 3, giving you 16, this is simplified. That was a really big stretch, but I know that some of you are up for the challenge, and I really wanted you to see just what you're capable of. All right, my loves, 4 times 3 is 12. 12 add 2 is 14 over 3 times 5 over 8. Again, not big and scary. We are really good at our multiplication, and when in doubt, set it up. We get a 70 on the top and a 24 on the bottom. I want to see how many sets of 24 I can pull out. I can pull out 2. That means I'm taking out 48. That leaves me with 22 over 24. If you got here, that is amazing. If you simplified it a little bit further and divided both of those by 2, 22 divided by 2 is 11. 24 divided by 2 is 12. 2 and 11, 12. So over here, one more on this page. 2 times 8 is 16. 16 add 7 is 23 over 8 times 4/5. 23 times 4, if you're not sure, set it up. 5 times 8 is 40. Now, the nice thing about this is we can skip count by 40 pretty easily. If I take out 2 groups of 40, 40, 80, that leaves me with 12 on the top and 40 on the bottom. As always, just because it's a mixed number does not mean that it is simplest form. We need to look at this fraction and ask ourselves, how low can it go? We can divide both of these by 4. If we do, we end up with 2 and 3/10. If you got here, that is your base. If you got here, that is your stretch. If you got here, way to go. That is a big leap. Any questions on these? Bring them with you to class. All right, sweet faces, just getting it to you a little bit different, making sure that we understand what a mixed number looks like. So for this one, we have 2 and 1/2, and we're multiplying that by 3/8. 2 and 1/2, if we use the C method, 2 times 2 is 4, add 1 is 5. So I'm going to rewrite that as 5 on the top and 2 on the bottom. When I multiply, 5 times 3 is 15, 2 times 8 is 16, and when I check these, I'm asking myself, do they have any common factors? Do 15 and 16 share anything that can divide into both? Because we know that our top number is smaller, so it's definitely not a mixed number, but is this simplified? Yes, it is. This is simplest form. Over here, we have 1, 2, 3 wholes and 3/4. When I do my C method, 3 times 4 is 12, add 3 is 15 over 4 times 1/3. 15 times 1 is 15. 4 times 3 is 12. If I take out one group of 12, I am left with 3 over 12. I can divide both of these by 3 and get 1 and 1/4. So step 1, step 2, step 3. Over here, I have 2 out of 4, and I have 1 and 3, 6. 6 times 1 is 6, add 3 is 9, times 2 out of 4. 9 times 2 is 18, 6 times 4 is 24. I know we are big fans of the splits, right? We can cut this in half, and I know that because both of these numbers are even. If I chose to cut them in half, I would get down to the final answer. It would just take me a few more steps. If I do it in one step using the GCF, or greatest common factor of 6, I would see that my simplest form is 3/4. If I split it in half, I would have 9 over 12. Divide both of those by 3, I would get 3 over 4. Down here, I have 2 and 4/8, and then I have 4, 6. 2 times 8 is 16. 16 add 4 is 20. So 28 times 4, 6. 20 times 4 is 80. 6 times 8 is 48. I'm only able to take one group. When I do that, 80 minus 48 leaves me with 32. So I have 32 over 48 as my fraction. Now, I know that they are both even. So this is definitely going to be simplified. I can split it and get it down, or I can divide both of these by 16. If I do that, I end up with 1 and 2/3. Doesn't matter how you get there, but how low can you go? All the way down to 1 and 2/3. We have 2, or I'm sorry, blah, 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 erase, not 2. I have 1 and 2 thirds, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 eighths. C method, 3 times 1 is 3, add 2 is 5, 5 thirds times 4 eighths equals 20 over 24. Again, I can split this. Let's do it. I have 10 over 12. I have 5 over 6. 5/6 is simplest form. That's the end of page 2, my loves. Any questions? Well, apparently I missed one. It's not the end of page 2. We have 3 and 2 fifths. 3 times 5 is 15, add 2 is 17. I can't believe I missed this one. I'm sorry, sweet faces. 17 over 20, and that's simplest form because 17 is a prime number. We got there. All right, now that is the end of page 2. Any questions? Bring them to class. All right, loves, we're getting big and big and big. These are some big answers. Do your best. 3 times 5 is 15. 15 add 4 is 19. 9 times 6 is 54. Add 1 is 55. We are really pulling out our multiplication skills, but this is nothing that you can't handle. It just takes some time. This gives us 1045. And our bottom number is 30. But remember, I told you sometimes we get ridiculous numbers. And when in doubt, split them. This is a perfect example of the 5s. I can divide both of these by 5s to try and make it more reasonable. 30 divided by 5 is 6. 145 divided by 5. Don't do it in your head. Write it down. 209. Can I divide 209 by 6? 100%. I can do hard things. 6 goes into 20 3 times for 18. 6 goes into 29. The closest that I can get with that is going to be 4, which is 24, leaving me with 5. This tells me that my mixed number is 34 and 5/6. You can do hard things. Take it one step at a time. 10 times 3 is 30. Add 2 is 32. Again, big numbers, but we're really bringing back in that multiplication and division skill so it doesn't slip away. 5 times 4 is 20. Add 3 is 23 over 5. 32 times 23 is 736 with 15. This is a gigantic one. But again, we have strategies. For this one, I would suggest dividing them both by 3. 736. No, wait, 3 is not going to work. Let's just divide it by 15. 736 divided by 15. I can absolutely do that. Let me white this out. Do I have white? I need white. There we go. It's not going to be enough. There we go. Give myself some more space. Perfect. There we go. I needed more space for my division. Okay. 736 divided by 15. 15 is an easy number to skip count by, right? We do 15, 30, 45, 60. So don't get scared off with that. The closest that I can get when I do that, again, 15, 30, 45, 60, I can go in 4 times for 60. 73 minus 60. Don't forget, 3 minus 0 is 3. 7 minus 6 is 1. Bring down your 6. It's going to go in another 9 times. 9 times is 135, leaving me with 1. This simplifies to 49 and 1/15. Again, big division, but we need to keep these skills set. We have done 2-digit divisors. This is another example of that. Okay, my loves. 1 times 6 is 6. Add 2 is 8. 2 times 8 is 16. Add 1 is 17. This one is a little bit of a brain break. 8 times 17 gives me 136. 6 times 2 is 12. Now, I know you're looking at this and you're like, Lazinski, you just said a brain break. I did, because I can cut these in half and get 68 over 6. I can cut these in half and get 34 over 3. Once I do that, I need my mixed number. 34 divided by 3 is a dream. 3 goes into 3 one time. 3 goes into 4 one time. 11 and 1/3 is completely simplified down. When you are faced with a cuckoo nuts answer, always try your strategies. Can I split this? Can I use a 5? Can I make this a mixed number? Don't give up, my loves. You are so smart. 6 times 4 is 24. Add 1 is 25. 5 times 8 is 40. Add 5 is 45. Big numbers, but nothing we can't handle. This is just a double multiplication. It gives us 1,125. We are in the land of cuckoo nuts, crazy. But we can do hard things. Across the top is 32. I have a 5 on the top and a 32 on the bottom. I don't love this, but I can do hard things. I would jump in and try and make this a mixed number. I can do 2 digits on the outside, and I can do bigger numbers on the inside. When I do that, and again, I'm going to black this out, well, white it out, so that I have extra space. But if you needed to use extra paper, that is totally fine. 1125 divided by 32. 32 is not my favorite to divide by, but I can skip count by 30 and add my extras. The closest I can get is going to be 3 times 32, 64, 96. 32, 64, 96. I'm going to subtract 112 minus 96 leaves me with 16. Bring down my 5. That is going to go in another 5 times. And when I do 5 32s, that's 160. That leaves me with 5. 35 and 5 over 32. That is also in simplest form. 7 times 8 is 56. 56 add 7 is 63 over 8. 6 times 2 is 12. 12 add 3, 15. Double, I can do it. 945 over 6 times 8 is 48. I'm going to set this up and I'm going to go right in and do my mixed number. So 945 divided by 48. 2 48s would be 96, so just a little bit too big. So I'm going to subtract and borrow. This gives me 6 and 8 and 4. Bring down my 5. Now, this is a big one, but I can guess and check. I can go off to the side and say, okay, well, how many 48s would be 4? 32, 16, add 3 is 19. Too small, I'm going to double it. We talked about this when we did our bigger division. 18, 384. So this is 8. If I do 9, that's going to give me 432. These are crazy, but you can do it. When we subtract that, we are left with 33. So we have 19 with 33 out of 48 left. That is a big one. Now we ask ourselves, I've done all the work. I've gotten this to a mixed number, but is it simplest form? Is it simplest form? And I'm here to tell you that it is not. It is not. We can get this down to 19 and 11 over 16. But if you got here, sweet faces, I am so proud of you. Mixed numbers get really big really quickly. 11 times 2 is 22, add 1 is 23. 3 times 3 is 9, add 1 is 10. 230 over 6. They are both even numbers. Split it, split it, split it. 115 over 3. Something that I notice about 115 is that it has 15 in it. So that would be divisible by 5. I have some options. Now, you might try 3. Even though 3 goes into 15, it does not, unfortunately, go into 115. So I'm going to jump right in and I'm going to make my mixed number. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 8 is 24. 38 and 1/3. All right, kiddos, that was tough, but you are tougher. Questions? Bring them to class. All right, sweet faces. We have 1 2/3. We have 2 1/2. Well, first of all, if I write this a little bit nicer, here we go. 3 times 1 is 3, add 2 is 5 over 3. 2 times 2 is 4, add 1 is 5 over 2. We multiply. 5 times 5 is 25. 3 times 2 is 6. I'm going to go right in and do 25 divided by 6. I can get 4 because 6 times 4 is 24 and 1 6. 4 and 1 6. Over here, I have 2 3/4. I have 3 3/6, but I could also call that 1/2 if I wanted to make it a little bit simpler for myself. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 add 3 is 11. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 add 1 is 7. Now, if you did 6 times 3 is 18, add 1 is 19, that is absolutely fine. You could still get to the right answer, but we are always teamwork smarter, not harder. 11 times 7 is 77. 4 times 2 is 8. Let's jump right in and try our division. How many groups of 8 can I take out of 72? I'm sorry, out of 77. 9, I gave it away. 9 times 8 is 72, which would leave me with 5 out of 8. Down here, we have some giants. We have 4 1/2, and we have 6. Oh, look, this is also 1/2. 4 times 2 is 8, add 1 is 9. 6 times 2 is 12, add 1 is 13. 9 times 13, that's a little bit big, but our bottom numbers are phenomenal. We have 117 over 4. I'm going to dive right in and do the division. I get 29, a whole lot. 4 times 29 gives me 116. Now it leaves me with 1/4. So dividing that, not too bad. Almost there, kiddos. We have 3 7/8. We have 1 4/5. 3 times 8 is 24. Add 7 gives me 31 over 8 times 5 times 1 is 5. Add 4 is 9. 31 times 9 gives me 279. 8 times 5 is 40. I'm going to go in and just do my division because I just want to get it done. How many groups of 40 can I take out? I can take out 6. That would give me 240. Shortcuts. 4 times 6 is 24. Add a 0. When I subtract that, I'm left with 39 out of 40. That's simplified. All right, we did this one. Let's go down here. 2 more. We have 1 1/4, and we have 1 3/6, or I could also call this 1/2. 4 times 1 is 4, add 1 is 5. 2 times 1 is 2, add 1 is 3. Ooh, no, there we go. 15 over 8. I can pull out one group of 8, and it leaves me with 7 over 8. That is simplest form. Last one we have is 4 4/5 and 2 1/3. 4 times 5 is 20, add 4 is 24 over 5 times 3 times 2 is 6, add 1 is 7. 24 times 7 is 168. 5 times 6 is 30. I can split it if I want to. Half of 16 is 8. Half of 8 is 4. Half of that is 15. I'm going to go ahead and divide. How many groups of 15 can I take out of 84? I can take out 5. And when I do, that's going to leave me with 9 out of 15. That can be simplified with a 3, which would leave me with 3/5. 5 and 3/5. All right, Nuggets, on to some mixed number word problems, and then we are done for the week. Leah has 2/3 of a cup of chocolate chips. If her friend Leanna has 2 1/4 times more, then how many chocolate chips does Leanna have? So we are doing, what are they asking me to do? What numbers are they giving me to use? They're giving me 2/3 and 2 1/4. So 2/3 times 4 times 2 is 8, add 1 is 9, is 18 over 12. I can cut it. Half of 18 is 9. Half of 12 is 6. I can cut it again. 9 and 6 are both divisible by 3. Would give me 3 over 2. And as a mixed number, that would be 1 and 1/2. Gary read for 5 3/5 of an hour during the first week of the month. He then spent 1 1/3 more time reading in the second week. How many hours did he spend reading in the second week? So we have 5 3/5, and we have 1 1/3. 5 times 5 is 25, add 3 is 28. 3 times 1 is 3, add 1 is 4. Across the bottom is 15. 28 times 4 is 112. I'm going to divide them. If I divide 15, I can take out 7 groups. 7 groups of 15 is 105, which leaves me with 7 out of 15. So 7 and 7/15. If in 1 minute Mr. Corbin can fill up a bucket 3/4 of the way full, how many buckets can he fill in 3.5 minutes? So we have 3/4. I'll write this out so you can see it. 3 times 2 is 6, add 1 is 7. We multiply and we get 21 over 8. If I'm thinking of how many groups of 8 I can pull out, I can do 2, which would give me 16. 21, take away 16, leaves me with 5. 2 and 5/8. Emmy spent 4 5/6 hours organizing all of her jewelry. She then spent 1 3/4 times more organizing all of her makeup. How long did it take her to organize her makeup? So 4 5/6, 1 3/4. Let's convert. 6 times 4 is 24, add 5 is 29. 4 times 1 is 4, add 3 is 7. 29 times 7 is 203 over 24. When I divide that, I get 8 whole groups. 8 groups of 24 is 192. That leaves me with 11 over 24. 2 more, we're almost done. Jackie runs 5-6 miles, 2.5 times a week. How far does she run in a week? 2 times 2 is 4, add 1 is 5. 25 over 12. I can pull out 2 groups of 12. 2 times 12 is 24, leaves me with 1, 2, and 1/12. Sydney has a box that is 7 7/8 inches long and 6 1/6 inches wide. What is the area? We haven't gotten to area yet, but area is length times width. We have done that in the past. And we're multiplying mixed numbers. So if you had trouble with that, if you were like, area, I don't know, that's okay. You should have seen it last year, but if not, that's okay. 6 and 6 is 36, add 1 is 37. These are some big ones, ending with a double, which gives us 2,331. How many groups of 48 can I take out of that? 48. Did you know that 48 times 48 is 2,304? Probably not. We don't know our 48 times tables, but that leaves me with 27 over 48. All right, my friends, I warned you that this was going to be big. It was going to be giant because when we're multiplying mixed numbers, things just get really big really fast. Any questions? Bring them with you to class.